Welcome back, everyone. Today marks the final entry in this year's catalog of tech newses, because like so many of you, I am quite keen on taking a bit of a winter break to close out the year with some downtime with the fam, snuggling up by the fire with some hot cocoa as we speculate on what new horrors 2024 will bring. Chief among said horrors will be an initial lack of tech news installments, since we've got Christmas, New Year's, and then CES week, but look for the drought to end when Tech News 2024 edition kicks off January 21st. But I'm not the only one who has requested an end-of-the-year vacation. Much of the tech world is planning to check out too, at least for a week or so. But before we set those out-of-office auto-replies, there were reports of some activity this week that you might go so far as to call newsworthy. We might have NVIDIA RTX super launch dates, the feds have decided to play nice with NVIDIA for a change, an AI war is brewing, and Threadripper CPUs have a special fuse built in that blows when overclocked. And that's not all that blows, so does this week's episode of Tech News. Like in a wintry sense, like a winter storm. Excellent! Today's video is brought to you by the Enermax Revolution DFX power supplies, which feature a trifecta of good PSU things. Premium Enermax build quality with industrial-grade 105C capacitors for gold-rated efficiency, full modularity with plenty of sleek black cables, and a compact 140mm length. And their ATX 3.0 and PCIe 5.0 ready with a native 12VH power connector, have self-cleaning fans with semi-fanless mode, and are available in 850, 1050, and 1200 watt versions. And yes, RGB too, which you can turn off. For more on Enermax Revolution DFX PSUs, click the sponsor link in the video description. We begin with launch dates for the upcoming NVIDIA RTX 40 Super GPUs. Unofficial, rumored, likely a red herring, but let's examine the info nonetheless. According to Chinese tech site IT Home, we'll have a January 8th announcement of the RTX 40 Super series at NVIDIA's special address. That's on CES Day 0, with the RTX 4070 Super launching 9 days later on January 17th, the 4070 Ti Super 1 week later on January 24th, and finally the 4080 Super after one more week, January 31st. And while to me this looks vaguely like my teacher assigning a mountain of homework the second I get back from winter vacation, it is also a classic NVIDIA move to stagger the launches by a week or so as to monopolize the tech media spotlight for as long as possible. Current stats compiled from rumors and leaks are shown here on this handy chart on videocards.com, alongside the non-super cards that are already out. So we can already kind of get a vague idea of performance and expected price. If NVIDIA does what we expect them to, pricing them at say $700 for the RTX 4070 Super, maybe $900 or $1,000 for the 4070 Ti Super, and likely $1,400 for the 4080 Super, I don't think it's going to raise the heart rates of many gamers out there in anticipation. What NVIDIA would need to do to actually get some positive feedback, and to be clear, I do not at all think that they will do this, is lower the price of the existing cards and drop the Supers in at those prices. So the RTX 4080 could drop to $1,000, which is still expensive, but at least slightly more reasonable. 4080 Super could then be $1,200, for example. Again, not gonna happen, but if it does, I will give full credit to NVIDIA and say nice things about them. Speaking of saying nice things to NVIDIA, the US government did a bit of that this week in an apparent softening of their stance on the export of AI chips to China. You may recall US Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, who had no patience for NVIDIA's shenanigans last week, threatening to adjust export restrictions the very next day if NVIDIA tried to duck them. Well, the YouTube video that featured those comments has since been deleted, and now this week, in an interview with Reuters, she says her department is working with NVIDIA to better define the restrictions. NVIDIA can, will, and should sell AI chips to China, Raimondo said in a voice that sounded uncharacteristically cold and robotic, because most AI chips will be for commercial applications. What we cannot allow them to ship is the most sophisticated, highest processing power AI chips. Raimondo's change of heart came after a talk with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, whose godlike power to manipulate the very fabric of reality is still limited to when he's logged into the Omniverse, for now. The interview ended abruptly when Raimondo was asked if there was any chance that she had been body swapped and replaced with an AI-powered robot, though. Of course not, she said, wagging a finger and 3 thumbs at the interviewer. No more questions. Speaking of NVIDIA taking over the world with AI, the seat of power enjoyed by Jensen and company was threatened from afar last week when rival AMD revealed their MI300X AI GPU at their Advancing AI event. The reveal was accompanied by AMD-sourced benchmark slides that NVIDIA found highly offensive, and they have responded with a strongly worded letter, or a blog post rather, pointing out the various fallacies with AMD's purported benchmark comparisons. And perhaps they have a point. Specifically with the Llama 2 70B test, AMD showed numbers using their optimized libraries within the ROCm 6.0 suite for the Instinct MI300X, an advantage that was not afforded to NVIDIA's Hopper H100. When paired with the most recent TensorRT large language model software stack, the DGX H100 performance more than doubles, easily outpacing the MI300X. And it's happening sooner than expected, but as predicted, the AI war between NVIDIA and AMD is heating up. But how will these tech giants truly prove who is the superior AI GPU manufacturer? A simple challenge: see who can be first to create an AI so powerful it can enslave the entire human race, of course. That's how you win. Speaking of things that already happened, Threadripper 7000 has been out for almost a month now, and it has impressed high-end desktop fans with record-breaking benchmark results and a price tag that really shuts out the hoi polloi. But another Threadripper feature was revealed this week that made at least a few extreme overclockers drop their thermos of LN2. There's a canary in Threadripper's coal mine in the form of a fuse that blows if you run the CPU out of spec, i.e. overclock it. That fuse's demise can even be detected by the motherboard, triggering a BIOS warning message, a pretty dire one at that says overclocking mode will now be permanently enabled for this processor and effectively void the warranty as previously stated. AMD now says that this message is not completely correct. Tripping the OC fuse does not inherently void your warranty, but damage directly resulting from overclocking does. A subtle difference, yes, but if you're trying to return a damaged CPU to AMD, how would they even know if you had overclocked? Oh. Next up, like sands through the hourglass, so is the breeze through our tech briefs. Never skimp on the power supply is good foundational PC building advice, but if you need a chilling real-life example to show new builders and scare them straight, check out this post from Redditor, Reddit Cringe 990 in the PC Master Race sub. When opened, their Equites T500 power supply, supposedly a 500-watt unit, seemed quite underbuilt inside, and as a bonus was fitted with this little box, completely non-functional but filled with iron shavings to make the unit feel heavy, since better built power supplies typically weigh more. Even more frightening was the unit's complete lack of failure protections, meaning when it inevitably fails, it's going to take other parts of your PC along with it. To avoid this, simply do not skimp on your power supply. Get a solid unit from a reputable manufacturer. Speaking of PC hardware failing, MSI issued a recall for their MAG Coreliquid E series AIO liquid cooling product line last week, but only in Japan, which is curious because there is nothing to indicate that the pump problems, which affect 4 models in the series, would be limited only to Japan, so perhaps a wider reaching statement is still forthcoming, or possibly, since the problem is primarily pump noise, not outright failure, it was deemed a poor enough experience that MSI's regional offices in Japan decided to offer refunds or replacements, but other markets did not. Either way, if you have an MSI MAG Coreliquid E series AIO cooler, keep an ear out for a noisy pump. And finally, we close with a farewell to the NVIDIA GTX 16 series of video cards. First launched in 2019, the GTX 16 series occupied a sometimes awkward position in the GeForce lineup, sandwiched between and overlapped by the previous GTX 10 series and the fancy new RTX 20 series, but we will remember these plucky GPUs nonetheless, because they apparently represent the last time NVIDIA truly gave even half a shit about budget gamers. I mean, come on NVIDIA, an RTX 3050 6GB? Where's the RTX 4050? Come on! Anyway, there were a lot of laughably bad GPUs in the 16 series too, like the GTX 1630, but now there won't be because they're ceasing production in Q1 2024. Pour one out for the GTX 16 series, indeed. And pour one out for Tech News 2023. There you have it, guys. Tech news for the week and tech news for the year. I've had a wonderful time bringing you weekly tech news recaps this year, so if you like this video, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all the articles I talked about today are linked in the video's description if you're interested, and you can check out my store at paulshardware.net for high quality merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, and more. There's a sale going on through the end of the year, and one final reminder that if you'd like to enter to win any of the fabulous prizes that we had set up for giveaway for our charity live stream, those are open through tomorrow, the 18th, and I'll be picking winners a day or two afterwards, so keep an eye on your emails. I think that pretty much wraps things up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, it's a good call too. I have more videos coming in 2023, but that is a wrap for Tech News. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you next year.